are there rules for successfully engaging with the US president, and is being sycophantic one of them?
I hesitate to suggest that there is ever going to be a consistent rule book. There is no question that this moment is testing those relations, but it's also true that our mutual interests and the structural circumstances in this region, namely China that continues to pursue a very assertive foreign policy itself, give us every reason to hold fast together. So while I have no doubt that our allies are going to have to think very creatively about how to continue to manage this moment, I also do believe that these long-standing relationships will come through it.
What do you see are the key issues for Australia in dealing with the US with Donald Trump in the White House?
Well, of course, when it comes to Australia, there is a keen interest in preserving, protecting, and extending the AUKUS partnership between Australia, the United States, and the UK. Of course, announced back in September of 2021, we were able to make extraordinary progress through that AUKUS partnership in just the last few years. It is very much the hope on both sides of the Pacific, including in the US Congress, that that program will proceed apace because it is so critically important to both of our nations' security. But I wouldn't isolate the US-Australia alliance to just AUKUS. We've got lots of work to be doing together on critical minerals to diversify the marketplace. We need to be cooperating on critical and emerging technology, including biotechnology and artificial intelligence. And of course, there are a wide range of security issues on which we need each other beyond just the AUKUS program itself. So I am very hopeful that there will be a leader-level engagement between President Trump and Prime Minister Albanese very soon. And Prime Minister Albanese will have the opportunity to remind President Trump that the United States must continue to see Australia as an indispensable ally who stands beside it and extends American potential in everything we do.
Does President Trump need to be convinced of that?
Well, I do think we know that President Trump has a track record of being skeptical towards alliances. This is not about any one country, but we've certainly seen a pattern towards his relations with Europe, as well as here in the Indo-Pacific, about being especially concerned about allies who seem to be dependent on the United States. And in particular, if allies don't seem to be spending enough on defense, President Trump has a history of not taking kindly towards that. But we've also seen that when allies organize themselves in a constructive and affirmative way, as our NATO allies did ahead of their summit with President Trump this summer, when they made major new commitments to spending, they are able to speak with a unified voice and to protect their own interests and to win his support. Likewise, I think we have also seen relatively successful entrees from both Japan and South Korea when it comes to their relationships with President Trump. So even though there may be this inherent skepticism, there is also the opportunity for a high-performing, valuable ally to demonstrate to President Trump why they are so important to the United States position here in Asia and around the world.
But are there rules for successfully engaging with the US president, and is being sycophantic one of them?
I hesitate to suggest that there is ever going to be a consistent rule book that always flies here. And of course, my close experience is with the prior administration, Kirsten. But what I will say is I think it has behooved many foreign leaders to lean into their personal relationship with President Trump and to demonstrate through their engagement the long record that their country may have in stepping up in ways that complement and help to promote American standing and American power.
If governments are finding it a somewhat difficult environment to navigate, how should businesses operating in the region deal with this instability?
That's an essential question, Kirsten, because of course we are seeing that at this moment of incredible policy volatility, it has become more challenging than ever for business leaders to navigate geopolitics. And we know that increasingly CEOs are preoccupied on a daily basis with what geopolitical risk will mean for their business. At my home organization, the Asia Group, we think a lot about how to bring geopolitical risk into boardrooms and filter it throughout companies so that countries can try to get ahead of things like tariffs or export controls. But gone are the days when business leaders can check in on geopolitics every so often and hope to ride out the waves that they feel. Volatility is with us to stay, and that needs to be something that business leaders plan for as they bring basic facts like increasing economic volatility, great power competition, and changing rules and norms around the world inside their businesses to better cope with them.
Mira Rapp-Hooper, good to speak to you.
Great to speak with you.